And welcome to the show, Our Islam and Community Issues. My name is Naeem Sharif. Today we have a special guest, Jamar Smiley. Thank you, sir, for coming out. Appreciate it.
Brother. Appreciate
And then
you.
we have our co-host, Brother Benjamin Shabazz. Our show title today is Nutrition, Body, and Soul. We got a lot to give you. We're going to try to give it to you. We can't give you it all, but we're going to give it to you.
Yes.
So with that, Brother Jamar,
let's open up with prayer.
we're going to open up with prayer.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge with Allah from the rejected enemy, Satan, the devil, with the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Ameen.
Amen. There's that soul part. There you go.
Yes.
Brother Jamar, we have so much to talk about with nutrition, body, and soul. What got you started in nutrition, and what was your evolution in this whole process?
That's a good word, evolution. I started as a trainer years ago. I always wanted to work out. I used to do sports, so the shoulders are still there. But after sports, you go and you got to do something else.
Right.
So I always was attracted to the body, the systems. And I was talking to a doctor one day, and he said there's 15,282 systems in the body. And once I heard that, I thought, I have to spend my life learning all these systems. So that was I must have been 20 years old when that happened, and that took me down the road. And as evolution would state, I gotta keep progressing. I gotta keep getting better. I gotta keep failing, and I gotta keep growing from those failures and learning. And it brought me to where I am today.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we want to talk about nutrition. And one of the first things, this could be a whole show. Let's talk about water.
Oh, water. Well, where do we begin?
With the drops. So, there's different kind of bottled water, there's spring water, there's filtered water, reverse osmosis.
Yes.
I mean, the water that comes through the volcanoes, that gets the minerals and everything and all that stuff. So what are we looking at?
Well, so there's all types of waters, man. Like, so I'm gonna try and keep it concise. When we deal with water, right, we got to understand that, our body needs water, right? So we are 80% water. Scientists say, we're 82, 85, whatever. Factual science is we are 99% water molecules. So every single part of our body needs water in some way, shape, or form, okay? Knowing that, we always search for water, okay? When you get things that are bottled, we have to remember that anything that comes in a bottle legally has to be processed under FDA rules. FDA rules state that in any type of plastic bottling or any type of mass-produced bottle, you have to have BPA powdered into your bottle for safety, right? So then you place the water in so it has longer expiration date on top of the refrigerators and shelves, which doesn't make sense because water doesn't expire, okay? Now what they don't know is BPA is a substance that when it gets into your system, it causes your cells to act sporadically. And in some cases, it does cause cancer. In other cases, it causes organ failure. And in basic cases, it just causes schizophrenia in the brain. In most regular cases in children, it creates sickness within the body. So that's when you get the ongoing states of mucus, the ongoing state of diarrhea. A lot of children who drink water in bottles end up with diarrhea, dehydration. That's when you get them onset. They call it ADD or ADHD. That's when you start to see those onset versions of those diseases. And then we get into other sciences and how you get diagnosed with those. But from that position alone, we know that we can't drink water in a bottle because it's just not safe. So when you think of spring water, you think, it's a spring, it's healthy, it's free, it's from a spring, right?
Right.
Well, you got to track your source. Where did the spring come from? Is the spring up the mountain near the ski resort? That's not a good spring source then, because the ski resort is dumping their waste into the spring water and it's coming down into your spring well, and then it's going to mess up your system anymore. So you don't want that. So you have to know that as well. We look one further, reverse osmosis. That's the one that I drink personally.
Okay.
And that's because when you use a reverse osmosis water filter, it's a 3-step process at the minimum. Some stages have a 6 to a 9-step process, but the basic is a 3-step process. And with that 3-step process, all you have is pure water at the end of the day. And from that point, you have what you need to give sustenance to your body.
Gotcha.
So for me, I would say reverse osmosis water first and foremost. And the best ways to get that are in local supermarkets, not supermarkets, but local health food stores, or you can buy your own filter online. You can get a filter online from anywhere to $100 to a couple $1,000s. So it really just depends.
Just depends.
Yeah.
So now if you use that reverse osmosis and everything, and then you put it in one of those, what is that called, that doesn't have the bad stuff in it, one of those, a good plastic bottle?
A good BPA-free plastic water bottle.
Okay.
Or you can get a glass water bottle.
Okay.
Most people don't like carrying around gallons of glass, right? But it's fine, you can get a plastic one. When we talk about water, another thing we have to remember is that for every 50 pounds you weigh, you should be drinking a liter of water, okay? And then we have to remember that the average adult, right, adult being 18 and above, the average adult is going to get rid of 64 ounces of water just through urination by itself. So even if you drink 1 liter of water, you have to keep in mind that you're going to dispose of at least 2 liters of water. So you have to make sure that you're hydrated.
I see.
What's a liter in relationship to a gallon?
A liter is 1/4 of a gallon. So 4 liters is a gallon.
Okay.
Yes. So we get rid of, on average, at least half a gallon just by ourselves. And that's if I don't do anything but, have a hamburger and a cup of water. You're still gonna pee out 6 ounces of water. That's just gonna happen because that's what your body's doing on a daily basis with 99% water molecules.
Okay.
Okay.
I got a question.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Exercise, daily exercise. What's the recommended dose?
Recommended dose exercise.
Recommended dose.
Just
Now,
do it. Huh?
Right? Now, I got to be clear that I am not a registered dietitian, a physician, or any FDA agent who gives recommended daily allowances, doses, or prescriptions that cure any ailments, okay? Because by the FDA's rules, only prescription and over-the-counter drugs can do that. So with that being said, my recommendation for any type of exercise routine would be to sweat for at least 20 to 35 minutes. If you get sweat for at least 20 to 35 minutes, that's step number 1. If you can't do that, then go walk for like 30 minutes. I've been hard pressed to see anybody sweat intensely from walking. There's morbidly obese people in the country who might be sweating profusely just from walking, and I understand that, but it's good that you start and then you walking and going somewhere, right? There's a lot of science behind walking in general, right? That is, to oversimplify it, walking is a state in which your body does it naturally. So you want to reach out to what you do naturally to make sure your body comes back to its natural state. Walking and sweating. If you can sweat, you can flush out toxins by itself by sweating. If you ain't got time, go to the sauna.
What about weight-bearing exercises?
Weight-bearing exercises is a different subject because when I add weight, that means I have function, right? So when I put function with my weight, you can do a function wrong and you can do a function right. And most people end up doing functions wrong, so they increase the risk of injury. Then when you increase the risk of injury, then you have other problems that you have to deal with. So if you were to do weight-bearing exercises, the first thing I would say to you is know what it is that you're doing,
Or get a trainer.
Or get a trainer, but even then, to that point, I can tell you, as a previous trainer, that a lot of certifications that you learn, they only teach you a specific way to learn and a specific way to teach. So if I don't know how to teach you correctly, then I'm gonna teach you wrong immediately. And then most people are ending up teaching you the wrong way. So we take something that's a big fad, one of the bigger fads today, that you would see them working out all the time and doing the little kettlebell swings. But with with something as simple as a kettlebell swing. You know that if you drop down and swing it back up like that, you're putting a strain on your hip, right? And the more weight you add, now you're putting strain on your back. And then as you come back up and you bring it back up, you're actually not getting it lifted anymore. You're working your body so much in the wrong position that now you think you're working out because you're sore all over when your whole posturing and your whole movement was wrong in the first place. So some trainers are good, some trainers are bad. I would say understand how your body moves and then find someone in that field who can relate to how your body moves. Because I can go to the gym right now and see people doing push-ups wrong. Like push-up, up, down. It doesn't get harder than that, right? But I've seen people do push-ups wrong. So everyone's got a different understanding of, how to do how to do a functional exercise because they don't know how their body moves. So it's important to know, then we can move forward.
Okay, so you have some products here. You want to talk about some of the stuff that you have here, just because we're talking about things that are in nature, and stuff like that. You want to talk about some of these things in general?
Oh yeah. Now these things, I got a powder for energy. It's a maca powder. I have a lion's mane. It's a mushroom. I got elderberry syrup, and I even got elderberry capsules. And then I also got some multivitamins back here as well. Without getting deep into my realm of elderberry breaks down mucus in the body. Okay. Now we all know that mucus is part of sickness. Most people say it's the biggest thing in sickness because if your body has mucus on any way, shape, or form, you're going to be sick in some capacity. So if you get rid of mucus in the cells, then we don't have to worry about sickness, ideally speaking. Lion's mane is good for a host of, just a host of things with the body. One of the bigger things they say lion's mane supports is function in the brain and function in the nerve and helps memory as well. And also for me, it boosts my energy level. Right?
Okay.
Now, for me, it boosts my energy level.
Gotcha.
Right? That's for me.
That's
I also have a different energy powder that we call maca powder. Right? Maca powder has its own type of properties as well. And maca root is known in the South American areas to boost energy. And actually, they use it during war times. So they would take maca powder and they would take like honey and bread and eat that, but then have some maca powder and they would go to war. And they had to walk. Yeah. They had to walk miles. So they would walk miles on maca powder and then be ready for war. So that's something that I really find that helpful throughout my day, just because we all work 24-hour days now and everyone is chasing the bag. So everyone's putting in overtime. And then we also got multivitamins. Multivitamins are important, and I'm not saying multivitamins as in the multivitamins you get from your local health food store. I mean whole food supplements. Okay, there's a complete difference. A multivitamin only has the recommended 6 to 9 vitamins that the DHEA and the FDA and the food corporations tell you that you should be having. A whole food supplement is all the vegetables that your body is going to be naturally needing to consume, compressed to retain all the vitamins and minerals that your body's going to need. And scientists have proven this, that we have 102 minerals in the body. 102 minerals in our body that we need.
So these would be called like raw whole food?
Yes, raw whole food supplements. You can get them as, well now, they would be called whole food dietary supplements, but they should be whole food supplements, but people buy words, so.
Gotcha. That's interesting. Now what about, and then Ben, I know you have some more questions. What about minerals? How important are minerals?
Minerals are huge. Again, our body's 102, we have 102 minerals in our body, but a lot of minerals we don't get just in everyday stuff, which is why I bring up reverse osmosis water, right? Even if we have reverse osmosis water, we have that, we drink it well, and then we eat something like pork. Now the pork just depletes all your minerals.
Okay.
It's gone now.
Just saying the word makes me cringe.
Right? I can't. I remember when I was younger, we ate pork. And again, this is, I gotta make this clear that first and foremost, I'm a person of my community. So, being the black community. So when I speak, I always speak from a sense to where something that afflicts me has afflicted most of my people, and it's something that we can get over as people. So when I say we, I mean, we, the people of the black community, we are known to eat, pork and ribs, chitlins and pork rinds and baby
Right.
back, everything is mostly pork and beef and chicken. But we got to remember that when you have pork, right, and I'm saying this purely from just scientific standpoint,
yeah.
pork by itself, right, all meat has parasite. That's a fact. But pork parasite by itself, the flesh in the pork is such a tender flesh that the parasite is used to that. So when we digest that, the next thing it's looking for is the thing to mimic that flesh. And the first thing that mimics that flesh is the brain. So the parasites actually climb on to the cells in the blood and find the brain, and then they eat the brain. That's what they have to eat off of. Then when we eat more pork, the parasites send pheromones to the new pork that's coming to the body. So the more pork we eat, the more the parasites know, oh, we're going
Where to
straight
go.
shot into the brain.
Take that elevator. Huh?
Right. Then we get this thing called the itis, right? You had that before when you ate so much, we used to just go in on ribs, and after a while you get a little lightheaded and you just want to take a nap. That's what's happening. You get overload. It's sugar rush overload. It's all that pork going to your brain, and parasites is up there living, camping, creating children, multiplying. That's the first issue. So when we think of minerals, we have to remember that when we eat or digest things that deplete minerals, that's a battle in itself. So even if you have the best water and you take, everything here and you break down, your mineral supplements, and you're gonna go and get your seaweed and whatever you want to, and then you turn around and you go to Chick-fil-A and you get the number 7 twice a week, what was the whole point? At that point, what was the point of you doing that? There was none. So I think mineral intake comes down to us knowing what we're putting in our body. And that's as simple as reading ingredients. It takes 30 seconds. You can read an Instagram
Let me
post.
cut in here real quick.
Go right ahead, brother, please.
Why is it that our people in particular are so hung up on pork?
You want the politically correct answer or the answer that I'm feeling I'm about to say right now? Because it's a known. I mean, we know why. I would say that through the years and years and years of mental programming and mental suggestion that we've gotten from, when you get into school, they tell you Black history starts at slavery. So, so from that point of Black history, from there to now, we've been essentially trained and told over and over again to eat pork, and it's reinforced by the parents, by the grandparents. And again, I love all my ancestors, but some of my ancestors, the information wasn't all the way factual because they've been trained, you've been trained, I've been trained, and it's all a breaking process. So now the community kind of thrives on, we kind of thrive on that. And you do something for so long, you're just used to it. But
Inertia.
exactly, yeah. But the name of the game now is, we gotta evolve.
Have you seen some of these commercials lately?
Oh.
Bacon, bacon, bacon. Everything got bacon. Even ice cream got bacon.
Yeah. I saw.
Bacon,
You know
bacon.
what? You're not telling the lie. You're not telling the lie. Oh, the Baconator was the max for me back in the day, but now everything is pork.
Yeah.
Everything. I think I saw chitlin flavored potato chips. Social media shows you all types of things.
So kind of
So I
stuff.
saw chitlin flavored potato chips, and they was loving them.
Well, I know we're
so
trying to
sad.
move on, but I got to add this. They even have, in the Muslim community, even have halal chitlins.
Oh no,
Yeah.
how?
They just put halal on it.
But it's pork though.
I know exactly what you're
That
saying.
defeats the whole purpose.
That's the
Yeah.
whole purpose, yeah.
You can't have that. That
And
doesn't
it,
even
and it
make
was a gentleman who was an inspector in the meat factory. He's the one who told me that.
Wow.
He said they putting halal label on pork.
Oh,
Now that's cold, man.
man.
That's cold.
You talk about evil. That's evil.
That's
That's
Yeah.
pure
That's
evil
the
right
lowest
there.
form
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it comes down to, knowing what you put in you. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's super huge. I saw organic, what was it? Organic Flamin' Hots, the hot Cheetos. I saw organic hot Cheetos. Blew my mind. I looked at it and I thought, there's no way this is real right now. Yeah. So You just got to know. You just got to know.
Just got to know.
You know,
Just
awareness.
gotta know. That is something. There is, well, we talked about the body a little bit. Why don't you give us some of your soul? just share the, now what, the one that you did to the grill party, that you got a standing ovation. Let's do that maybe next show. Let's save
Okay.
that one.
Yeah.
Let's give them a teaser.
A teaser?
Give them a teaser.
Let me see what I got. This is for the railings, the walls, and the tag ceilings, sprouted from suppression and all of the bad feelings. To the ancestors and all of their glad meetings, rooted to their knees for scrubbing and rag cleaning. Shout out to the people who working and stay focused, carrying the others who moping and lay hopeless. Even though they're pushing it forward, they pay notice to the headliners who never could stay dopeless. Much appreciation for patients who paying bills, and the state farms and doctors who waiting still. To the soul men and fathers who playing bill, working through the 9 to 5 or laying still. Even off the path, these people we recognize, keeping to themselves the ones that we reckon wise, familiar with trouble from loving the rep inside, using you and choosing to lead into taking lives. Even to the youth, my truth of acknowledgement is harder than the starters of families' college sent. Much harder than to barter or render abolishment is solid motivation to furnish a polished tent. Enlightened through the journey of titans and fighting kings, persuaded by those jaded and all of the sight it brings, bestowed to behold however we write and sing, the skill to reveal the dark and the brighten things. Here's to the student, misguided and underread, working his entire life to be underfed by people who can see him as only a dunderhead, since he could never scrape off the toast from his Wonder Bread. Here's to the world and the lies of the cracked steeple, bowing down my head to all that attack equals, raising up my fists to follow the track sequel, pouring out my liquor for all of the black people.
Have mercy. Yeah, man, oh, that's beautiful, man. That is beautiful. We have about 7 minutes. Some other things that you want to add about Ben? Did you have any other questions or?
Yeah, I had a question. Let's talk about. Remember, there used to be a big thing about eggs and egg whites.
Oh, yeah.
What's the deal on that?
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so here's my thing, right? Eggs, right? Organic over non-organic. That's first, if you're gonna eat eggs. Second, when they say egg white versus egg yolk, the usual conversation is, cholesterol versus good fats. So it's so silly because when you eat egg white, right, they say that's the good fat. And when you eat cholesterol in the yolk, they say that's the bad fat, right? But that's old science. New science says that egg yolk, right, actually has up to 8 to 12 grams of protein in it. So are you saying proteins are cholesterol now, or are you saying that you lied before? So that it's always a misnomer when they come up with alternating ideas. It's like this. It's like margarine versus butter. Mm-hmm. In the 90s when I was growing up, margarine was best for you because butter was so bad. Right? Well, margarine scars your arteries and creates cholesterol. Mm-hmm. But nobody said that, in the 90s.
Exactly.
But now butter's so much better for you because butter is so much healthier for your body and it's got good fats in it. We got to watch keywords like good fats. That concept doesn't make sense. If I give you fat, is it good? It can't be. So where did you get good fat from? That doesn't make any sense. But when they throw these choice words around there, all they're doing is just playing the shuffle game so they can keep moving money around just to make sure that you're buying something.
So when you read, you purchase a supplement or whatever, and you're reading the ingredients, you said that's key. But you also need to know what certain words mean in those ingredients. So tell us about certain stuff.
You do. Okay, this is one I like to use because you can find this in every single store, everywhere. You can get a bag of organic potato chips, right? And on the bag of organic potato chips, it would say on the back, ingredients, organic potatoes, organic canola and or sunflower oil, right? And then it goes on to say salt, dextrose, spices, and or natural flavors, okay? The organic potatoes, congratulations, that was organic, okay? After that, the label just lied to you.
Oh my goodness.
All right? Now, here's the thing. Organic means 70% of what I'm giving you is organic. So the next 30% can be whatever I want to. That's the first step we gotta watch. So even if it says organic, that doesn't mean it's organic, all right? When you look at canola oil, canola is corn, corn is GMO. That's a genetically modified organism, so it can't be organic. Like, it can't be. It's modified genetically, so it can't be an organic anymore. It crosses itself out. When you look at sunflower or safflower oil, that is acidic to the body, and it acts in some forms that's like taking arsenic in a little form. So it doesn't it doesn't sit well in your body. It'll scar your arteries, as will canola oil. When you look at salt, salt by itself is a word that's owned, and I'm gonna say this one more time. Salt is a word that's owned by companies, as is spices. Salt, they own that word. So anything that falls under the guise of salt can be salt. Even if we just deal with regular table salt is bleached. You don't even know the ingredients in table salt. Table salt is bleached, okay? Table salt is dipped in nitrogen and then bleached to be white, okay? Salt by itself is a horrible compound, all right? If we use, pink salt, Himalayan salt, that's a different process than the salt you're eating. Then we get into spices, which would be the next ingredient. Spices is, on the FDA's website, is a list of 154 ingredients that fall under spices. One of those ingredients is monosodium glutamate. Another one of those ingredients is sucralose. Another one of those ingredients is artificial flavoring. I mean, the list goes on. When we get into dextrose, dextrose is another form of fructose, which is sucralose, which is high fructose corn syrup. Dextrose is like eating Splenda. Splenda is like eating high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup decalcifies your brain, okay? Among other things, but high fructose corn syrup decalcifies your brain. So when you look at something like a bag of chips, we gotta remember that just because it says organic, it doesn't, and then we read the bag, it's really not.
So you got to research. So definitely we have to do, this is a part one of nutrition, body and soul. We will get into nutrition, body and soul part two, because we got more ground to cover. Brother Jamar, thank you very much.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, brother. Thank you. Yes, sir, brother.
Thank you, our listening audience, and thank you for watching. Peace and prayers.
And take care of your bodies, take care of yourself, and read.
Read the ingredients, read them, okay? Question one thing in your life, just one. How's corn organic?
Thank you.
Come on now.
Thank you very much. All right. We're out. Thank you.